All right, well, welcome. Make sure you guys hit those subscribe buttons or in whatever else you're supposed to say. I obviously am not a pro here, but I wanted to bring you, since I saw other folks starting to post about 5.56 AKs, my 5.56 AK, well, one of them anyway, but this was a Yugo 5.56 parts kit that came in, and I do have the original furniture, and I'm sure someone out there is screaming, "What did you do? Why do you have that on your AK? No!" Because I wanted to, because I thought it was cool for what it was, since it was going to end up being shot, demoed, and just tested it out. Figured why not. But you can see it's a underfolder, Krink length. I've got a Sampson Rail, little name right there. But if you look right behind this Knight's Armament foregrip, there's a cutout in the rail section, and that is to accommodate the stock being folded. So it's kind of cool that you have a provision there to accommodate that. I think this is a super handy little 5.56 gun. I have considered suppressing it, but I like the overall length where it sits. I mean, when you look at, compared to my torso, it's really not that big. So it's very handy, very compact. I've actually had it in the vehicle a couple of times on the way to the range, and just sitting here with it folded, it's set real easy. Why 5.56? So I have it. I have a lot of it, and it's fairly cheap comparatively to other things. I know that ammo today is not cheap overall, but all things compared, it is. So here I sit, struggling just a little to get this button pushed on the underfolder and get it out there. Why do you have tags? I put tags on these things to make sure that we can write notes on any repair items or do outs. So anyway, we ended up using a full 5.56 kit from Parts Gun. Went with a Nodak spud receiver that was actually for this. So shout out to Nodak for offering all of the things that they do. However, ran into some issues with the initial build. The barrel that came with it was chambered funny. There's a scar, there's a scratch, there's something on the inside. And when we first fired this thing, it went kaboom. Blew a magazine out the bottom and everything, and it just kept on getting brass stuck in it, and we tried steel, and then finally just got down in there and ended up having to press the barrel back out, and got to looking, and there was a nice gouge right inside the chamber. And so no matter what, it was going to continue to have ammunition feeding problems, because every time you fired brass, the case wall would bulge into that area and it would get stuck, and then I couldn't get it out unless I was using a tool or a cleaning rod or something. So into the safe it went. On the back burner we wrote notes and said, all right, new barrel. About 8 months later, it was a Sunday morning, having coffee, decided to jump on Gunbroker, and sure enough, there it was, replacement barrel. Because I had started looking, I was starting to get desperate. I couldn't find barrels on in 5.56 anywhere online for these at the time, and I was getting ready to just grab another Yugo Zastava and depopulate the whole thing and use just the barrel and have spare parts for my kit for this in a bin. But I saw the barrel and it was something like $75, buy it now, and $10 shipping, and I could not hit the button fast enough at the time to go ahead and get that purchased. Showed up, we put it back together. You may have seen videos, and I'll go ahead and put them as related to where we're testing it with the wood on there. And that was cool. And it's still a cool gun. I dig it. But one thing, I was hanging around a buddy's shop and he had this little rail sitting here, and I was like, you know, let's do it. Let's see. I like options. I didn't want to modify the top cover and put a piece of Picatinny section back here. I just wanted it to be convertible back to the wood and have that original look if I so chose. Little bit different on this guy. Instead of taking Zastava mags or working with a bunch of other patterns, since I already had a Galil and a few Galil kits, we ended up using Galil pattern mags. Side note, I did have one of the full length, completely built by Zastava 16-inch AKs in 5.56, and for the one that I had specifically, the Galil patterns worked in that gun without modification. So I thought that was pretty neat. I had a bunch of mags on hand, 35 rounds, cheap, high quality, and I didn't have to buy a bunch of unknown polymer ones, and they seemed fairly expensive at the time. So went with the Galil pattern mag, and I just really enjoy it. The recoil impulse isn't bad at all, and we were able to get it going successfully as a post sample and fully semi-automatic. So I'll do a couple things for you today. Probably wondering what it's like to shoot with the grip, the stock folded. So I'll go ahead and do a couple rounds that way in regular semi. And man, this is not super enjoyable holding it like this, but, and you can see there's not a lot of recoil control even with that forward grip, but it's possible. Fingers off trigger. Let's unfold, if we can, unfold the stock. And we'll go in semi from the shoulder. So you can see the difference right off the bat in controllability. And then we'll switch it over to fully semi. It's pretty controllable how it sits. And just for you guys who want to know and want to see, we'll fold the stock. And I'm actually just going to press it to my chest for this portion, but fully semi. It is kind of neat. It is kind of neat to be able to do that. Oh man, this underfolder is tight. I'm having to push up towards the barrel just to get the right relief. And I think that was the last round. Let's check. Sure enough, cinder's clear. Well, that was a first, firing it with the stock folded. It's really interesting with your arms out in front of you, man. That after that first round, I'm sure you guys could see it kind of bucks all around, but if you bring it into the chest, more like a point shoot from a close area, it would work just fine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure that you keep coming back for more. We'll talk to you soon.